Nothing is like a guitar that shows scars from years of use. Or is it? Let's talk about Relic guitars and dive into this world of old-looking, worn and distressed guitars. Why are some of us spending lots of money to get a guitar like this? Well, I might have the answer. Relic in guitars has been pretty popular for the last about 30 years. I think it was Fender that started with some aging on their guitars, some guitars around 95, if I remember correctly. And it kind of started the trend. Today I'll show you some of my guitars with different degrees of relicing. Relicing is a process that's done often by manufacturers, sometimes as aged replicas of famous guitars, or just to get guitars that looks and feels like a well-used and loved guitar. I'll start off by showing you a couple of strats with real relicing. First off is this 1988. It's an Yngwie Malmsteen signature model from the first year. And I changed the pickguard. It's very minty colored, a bit too minty colored, I'd say. But I changed this. This is new, and the pickups as well. But the body was vintage white. Now it's very yellow. It was kind of yellow when I got it in the 90s as well, but it just got more and more yellow. And so this is a real kind of aged looking vintage white guitar from 1988. So I really think that's pretty cool. I mean, you might like a yellow guitar or not, but it's actually a real aged vintage white. The next guitar is from 91 or 92. So, and it's not really Relic. It's a sunburst, as you can tell, but it's got these kind of wears here and there, some like dings, and which is just from being played, and it's been used since 91 or 92. The next guitar I'm going to show you is a Suhr Strat, and this is a pretty new guitar, but it's been aged by the factory. I think it's like a vintage series. I'm not really sure what it's called, but it's really cool. I mean, it's got a couple of holes here that's been drilled for some reason, I don't know, but it doesn't really bother me. But it's quite a nice sort of checking and stuff. Quite cool looking guitar. It's got a roasted maple neck, which is very, very nice. So this is quite subtle because you can't see it from a distance that well, but when you get close you can actually see that it looks worn in, and I like that. Next up is my Gibson ES335. This is from a series called Traditional. So it's kind of got this creamy sort of binding, and it's kind of not... It's not been reliced at all, but it still feels old-ish. So it's just a nice sort of subtle look to it with this creamy binding and this slightly worn finish. Now let's go on to a aging technique that I really like. That's really subtle, but it's really cool. And I got this Les Paul based on a 1960 model. This is from a special run for Guitar Center, I think. But it has this kind of checking, which is really nice when you look at it from a certain angle. But if you don't, it looks just like a lemon burst, really nice. So, but I really like that subtle kind of checking. I think that's intentional from the factory, but I'm not sure. I bought this second hand, so it might be just because it's a few years old, so it might be a natural thing, but I'm not sure. But I think this is a factory thing that I did, and I really like it anyway. Same goes for this Fender Telecaster, which is a custom shop limited edition based on the 1968 Smuggler model, which basically means it's hollow under the pickguard, which makes a really cool sound out of the guitar. This has also been slightly aged, and you can see the see-through color, and then it's got some checking as well. Although I'm not 100% sure, but I think that was intentional from the factory, and you can see it all over the guitar if you look in the right angle. The last slightly aged guitars is this Collings guitar, which also has this checking all over the body, which is just really subtle, but it's just really classy, and it just looks great because it's not that obvious. And I really like that. It's and this is from the factory because it's like a vintage shell pink kind of color, and it's just really nice. Now, to finish off this very quick little tour of my Relic guitars, I got a couple of really cool ones. There are more Relic, and it's by Fano. This is just very cool. It's just very, it's just a very cool guitar. There's nothing more to say really. And it's got all these marks and dents, but not that much either. It's just like, yeah, some places it's quite a lot actually. But it's just slightly old looking guitar, and also the back of the neck. I don't really like that much lacquer on the neck. I prefer when they just sanded down a bit, and this is like that from the factory. I tend to do that myself on most guitars anyway, a little bit, apart from the Collings, which I don't really feel like doing. And the other one, is also by Fano, but it's a Novo guitar. And it's like a silver colored. It's got kind of similar type of aging as the Fano. It's just very, it's not that subtle, but it's still kind of, it doesn't look too much. It just looks like a guitar that's been played a lot. And with this one as well, same thing. I think this is roasted maple neck, and it's just the most comfortable thing to play. And this has got lots of like checkings as well, all the way. If you look in the right angles, again, that's kind of the, for me, when you look at the guitar in a certain angle, and you can see the sort of the aged look, but at another angle, you can't see it at all. I prefer that. So it's not that obvious, but it's still there. It just gives the guitar a certain vibe, which I really like. So let me know what you think about Relic guitars. I think they're cool. I see why some people don't, but I like it. In upcoming videos, I'll show you some of these guitars more in detail, and I'll do some demos of them as well, because they're all really great. They play great, they sound great, they feel great, which is what Relic guitar is all about, I guess.